you so much. We're now live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. So if you are just joining us, then do well to share the video. And of course, join us on this very special edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio, during which time we will be receiving two African women who have created a mark. They are contributing enormously to the development of the continent in their respective ways. Shiri Achu is not new to Apex One Radio. She's been on this station since inception. Sudi is not new as well. She was here in October of last year to tell us about her leadership course, which we know from when she graduated, and she didn't stop there. A lot has been happening with her. Recently, she wrote and published her book. We will know if it's the first when she comes on the airwaves to tell us more about that book. And so, thank you so much. If you are just joining us, this is Apex One Radio. Welcome on board. Welcome to this first segment of broadcast. So if you're just joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, you can do well to share this great moment as we prepare to start the beautiful conversation which we will be having with our guests on radio this very beautiful Saturday morning in the United States of America. All right, once again, thank you so much and welcome on board. Special thanks to the entire Apex One radio team, including MarcelAdig and, of course, Gracie Boise, Emmanuel Pei, Ayo Akinoli. Emmanuel actually traveled to Liberia. We want to say shout out to him. All right, thank you so much and welcome on board. This is a fresh edition of Apex Snapshots, art and culture version, of course. So if you're just joining us, sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we will be presenting to you this Saturday morning from the city of Columbus. And so, some of the most interesting human stories have been the ones told by people who have emigrated from their homes or countries to other places. Every single immigrant has their own story. Needless, of course, to say that traveling is one of the most amazing experiences, and of course, the biggest life lesson. Of course, when you travel, you meet new people, new places, new things, and new cultures. The list is long. No matter how good, bad, ugly, interesting, or difficult these new things may be, they add to your knowledge about life. Life is therefore not stagnant. So long as you live, life evolves, and you must, or should we say, you are bound to evolve with life. Adapting to every new environment becomes a natural tendency. Should you resist, then you will be lagging. In her journey into life's mysteries, Sudi Mohamud paints the picture of the USA stretch of that journey in a new book titled The Tales of Trials and Triumph. The mother of eight, who is known to be a vibrant community leader in central Ohio, hails from Somalia, but she moved to the United States years ago to navigate the new world and make it to the top. She tells the story in The Tales of Trials and Triumph, a book that was launched in Columbus on May the 25th this year. On Apex Snapshots today, she delves into the story to get an insight into her experience, which she summarizes in cultural differences, challenges, and the zeal to rise above all odds and be an inspiration to other people. My guest will be accompanied on the show today by a second one who is not new to Apex One Radio, but who always has a new story to tell. Shiri Achu celebrates 10 years of what began in 2014 as an art exhibition concept, but has grown over the years to one of the biggest things happening in international fine arts and painting. Today on the show, Shiri explains how she's raising up for 45 in print, which takes place in Washington, D.C. from July the 11th to September the 8th this year. The acclaimed international fine artist and painter takes us back to other recent projects as well. And so both ladies will be telling their stories on Apex Snapshots today on radio. And of course, you're invited to sit back, relax, listen to those stories, which will definitely inspire you, just as we have always done on this platform. And so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Welcome on board. Welcome to this special edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio, as we tell the story of 45 in print. And of course, the one of this book, which I have in hand, it's titled The Tales of Trials and Triumph. It is an autobiography authored by Sudi Mohamud, who is live with me here in the studio of Apex One Radio. And at exactly 24 minutes past 11 here in the studio, which is same time in Washington, D.C., let me begin by welcoming my studio guest. Sudi, how are you today?
I am doing great.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So how was the week?
Wonderful.
Wonderful week.
Wonderful
And
week.
it's definitely going to be a wonderful weekend. It's just beginning.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you and welcome to the show.
And thank you for having me.
Right. So let us move over to Washington, D.C. and say hello to our other guest, Shiri Achu, international fine artist and painter. Shiri, how are you doing today? Thank you and welcome.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. I am doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me as always.
Right. So how has it been?
How has it been? With life, with art.
With life and everything.
It's been busy. Life has been very busy.
Wow.
Yes.
That is interesting. And so you are back on radio today, this time to talk about the 10th anniversary of In Print Arts exhibition. And it's so, I was just wondering, and I was just, thinking back and saying that I was there when it started.
Yes.
That should have been 35, right?
Yes, it was at 35. It started in London. Yes.
How time flies. So
I know.
we are now at 45, 10 years on.
Yes.
And I was also wondering about your consistency. It's been like you've never taken a step back. It's just been ahead, ahead, ahead.
Yes.
Where do you get this energy from, Siri? Tell me.
I don't know. I don't know where I get the energy, but when I think it was because God downloaded the idea to me. Like I woke up one day and it was, Shiri, you will travel to city, exposing Africa culture, and every time you do it with a different color. So it was like it was what I had to do. So I just say, okay, that's what I'll do. Plus, I love to travel. And I love to expose. So the two came together really well. So I can, choose an amazing city and go and expose Africa culture. So it works out really well.
Beautiful. Shiri Achu is her name, internationally acclaimed fine artists and painters. She's journeyed across the world exhibiting her works. And today we will focus on In Print, which is how she dubs one of her exhibitions. So it's been 10 years she's been having this series called In Print, and this year she celebrates her 10th anniversary in this project. We'll be talking about that on radio. Back in the studio with Sudi. Sudi is an author, and she just published her new book. But before we start, Sudi, I would like you to reintroduce yourself. I know you've been on this platform, but for those of our listeners who are not able to see you when you came here for the first time, it may be important for you to reintroduce yourself. So, who is Sudi? Where were you born? Where do you come from?
I was born. I was born in capital city of Somalia.
That is Mogadishu.
That's Mogadishu,
Mhm.
and came here when I was almost 18.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that's Sudi.
Okay.
Mm.
So you came here when you were as young as 18.
Almost 18.
Okay. That should have been a very long time.
Mhm.
Right. And before writing this book, did you ever have interest in writing, or this idea just came from nowhere?
I never thought I would write a book.
Okay.
Yes, but questions of my children were, how was Somalia when you were growing up? Where do being raised when you were little, what you used to do for fun?
Mhm.
And a couple of my friends kept saying, you have a story, so why can you write a book?
Mhm.
So this is a summary of what to come.
Mhm.
There's another one coming soon
Okay.
that is going to go deep on this one, explaining more and in depth.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I never thought I would write a book.
We'll talk about this book, but I think it's even important for our listeners to situate this whole thing by knowing how you got to the United States, because this is about your experience leaving your country and coming to a completely different country, having the challenges, experiencing uh, multiple cultural values and so on. So tell us how you got to this country in the first place.
Wow, that's I came here illegally. Fake, I'll say, not, just someone brought me here,
Hmm.
and they left me in California, and I had a family in Seattle, so I had to travel by bus to go to Seattle.
Okay.
I At the time I left all my family in Kenya, and I was by myself. Had to trust God to take me where I'm supposed to be going.
Mhm.
And from California to Seattle, I traveled by bus,
Mhm.
not knowing the language and the country and what's about to happen.
Okay.
So when I get to Seattle, Seattle was different than California, because I was only there in 24 hours in California and then just left from there. So that's how I get here.
Okay. So from Seattle you got to Ohio.
Well, I've been living in Seattle for 10 years.
You lived there for 10 years
10 years.
before relocating to Ohio.
Yes.
Okay.
I had my 4 kids there.
Mhm.
I had to get married, divorced, single mother, all that for 10 years. And came to Columbus because I thought I can raise Columbus. That's what they call it, family city. Not that expensive, but also you can raise your children here. And that's why I decided to continue going to school. Um, Now I'm a therapist, going my BS on the fall from the university. So it never stopped me to go to school, even when I had kids and struggling and putting food on the table. So it was always pen and a paper with me.
Right.
Regardless where the day holds, it was always pen and a paper. Going to school, learning the and learning the language, adapting a new culture, try to improve myself with my 4 kids. When I moved here, I get remarried, have more kids, still going to school. So I've been living here for 12 years now. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Her name is Sudi Mohamud. She is author of this new book, The Tales of Trials and Triumph. It is her autobiography. She tells the story of her experience coming into a new country. Of course, she came here long ago, so she would have amassed a lot of experience, which is summarized in this book. She tells us that an extension of it is on its way. We'll learn more about that. Let's go back to Washington, D.C. Shiri, are you there? All right, you have
Yes,
to
I
unmute
am.
yourself. Perfect.
Yes.
So before we talk about 45 in print, which marks your 10th anniversary, I would like us to look at a few outings you've had of late. I just went through your page yesterday. I saw some very interesting, uh, uh, you know, strides you've made in recent weeks, beginning with your exhibition in Staples
Hmm.
that happened a couple of weeks ago. Tell us about it. How were you selected to be spotlighted as a small business in 2024?
Um, I I know. Well, I don't know how they selected me. They just called me and said, "Shiri, we want to
Mhm,
spotlight you." For I think they do this annually, and they've selected others in the past, but this year, because I go and I print my flyers, I print lots of things there, so and they see that I'm a small business.
mhm,
They just called me one day and said, "Shiri, we want to spotlight you," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" I didn't, and they said, "Yeah, just you will create the flyers and things, and we'll sort of expose you and bring light to you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's great, thank you so much." And it's actually still up there. It's not necessarily my artwork per se. It's more showcasing, like, people go and buy her art. People do. So right now it's driving people to register for the upcoming exhibition.
mhm. And the reason why we are even talking about this is because Staples is a big hand when it comes to office stationaries.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
even in this country. And so, if Staples identifies you and have you exhibit your works in their store,
Yes.
that is a big thing. How
Yes.
do you feel about that, and what does that mean to your career?
I mean, it's great. It's awesome.
Mhm,
I'm very grateful. I it's Yeah, I'm very grateful.
mhm,
Ultimately, for me though, it's having an amazing exhibition. So,
mhm,
the spotlight is wonderful. It's brought a lot of traction. It's got a lot of interest and people knowing my work. But
mhm,
ultimately, for me, it's about doing great work and having great exhibitions. So,
mhm.
of course, this allows and this will draw the people to my exhibition.
Tell us how it went. How long did you have your works in that store?
In
Who
Staples,
came there? Who saw it? And what did they say?
it's actually still there. It's still
Okay,
there.
wow.
It was there from the end. It's been there when April, end of April till now.
Wow.
It's actually
Okay.
still there. Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes. But I think I have one more month there or so, and then
Mhm.
it's going to be taken down.
What has been the feedback? Who has seen it and who has said what about it?
I'm not typically there with them, so I'm
Mhm,
normally doing my things around. So I'm really not sure what the people are saying. But when I do go there, I have a lot of good things, and people are
mhm.
coming to the exhibition because they've seen the advertisement. So it's been good. It's been good. But unfortunately, I can't be there as much as I would
Mhm.
like to because I'm preparing for the exhibition.
Shiri Achu is her name. She is an international painter and fine artist. Her works are in one of the Staples stores that should be in
In Silver Spring in DC, in Maryland. The area is called Silver Spring in Maryland. Hello? Oh, it froze. Hello? It has frozen? Hello? Hmm.
Okay, we are back on. We are back on. We're back on the airways. We are back on the airways. We're sorry for that technical hitch. Thank you so much if you're just joining us. We will be back with our guest at large, Shiri Achu, and of course, our guests in the studio. All right, so while we await Sudi, actually, let's get back to the studio with Sudi. Sudi is a book author. Sudi, tell us, is this the very first book you wrote?
Yes, this is my first book.
Okay, and you call it an autobiography.
Yes.
Okay, so why did you decide to write about your life?
Well, few reasons.
Mhm.
When being talked to people who cannot speak for themselves, I know is a lot of people who raise kids and struggling in life, but still want to get a degree. I want to tell them, regardless what you're going through,
Mhm.
um, school is your best friend.
Okay.
Book is your best friend.
Mhm.
I that is also teach my children where I came from. Teach my children being a peaceful country, civil war, getting here, raising them, having them, and going to school. What it means to me. So that mainly I my focus was the youth, and that doesn't have any parents that got here or have parents, but they don't have the voice to talk to anyone. That's the main point that I wrote the book.
So you come from a community that is very vibrant economically. Somalis like business; they succeed in business, and we attempted to think that it doesn't matter if people go to school, so long as they can have products to sell and make money, they are still successful. So, why did you insist, that education was the way to go? Whereas, like I just mentioned, you come from a community that succeeds even without education.
Well, money comes and goes.
Okay.
But
education comes and stays.
Yes, it stays and it stays with you forever. So you can get any job you apply easily when you have a degree in your hand. But business can go to bankruptcy, money can come and go. It's like when they think. So school, I focus on school, getting your degrees, and I would love to see a father or mother that in our community that has degrees than what we have now. We have more businesses here, right? And we have a lot of communities, but still, I want to talk to the parents and say, get a degree. You can run your business while you doing while you going to school.
And so while you were going to school, how was your community looking up to you? Is it something they were proud of, or they were saying, "Well, it really doesn't matter"?
Well, to me, I was always quiet. You see, until last year that I joined NALA,
Okay.
I was the quiet. I was going to my school, doing my thing. I wasn't involved in the community so much. Until I get involved in NALA, that was everybody know who I was and how many kids I had, for example, or what am I doing in my life. So I have a couple of community leaders tells me, you make us proud. If all the mothers or all the fathers can be like you, Somali community will change better. So yeah, I heard kind words.
So you wrote that the lesson drawn from this book, that is the tales of trials and triumph,
Mm.
is to equip yourself with knowledge, make space in this world to heal others, and have their voices heard, which is a sentiment you say
Mhm.
you live by and aspire to inspire in others as a beacon of life. Explain this to us.
Well, um, while I lived in Seattle,
Mhm.
I was struggling
Okay.
in a way where I had to pick up myself. So a situation like that would turn into drugs, alcohol, or losing faith and going wrong way.
Mhm.
But what I did was I turned to a pen and a book, going to the library, going to college, putting working, putting food on the table for my kids. And I feel like if you turn into, I know it's a lot of stress when you're raising kids
Mhm.
by yourself, but don't give up. Speak up. I had a good cousin of mine that always there for me. So find the right person, and talk to them, and have plan.
Mhm.
Um, if you get into wrong um, environment, then that's what you turn into drugs.
Mhm.
But my case was pen and a pen and a pen and a paper and a book and going college. So when I say I'm talking to those who cannot speak or they are stuck in a moment where
Mhm.
either they choose putting food on the table or going to school, I would say you can do both. I know it's a struggle,
Mhm.
but you can do
It's definitely a struggle. The pen is always better
both.
than the sword. The pen is always better than drugs. The pen is always better than anything else. That is her conviction in life. Her name is Sudi Mohamud. She is author of this new book, The Tales of Trials and Triumph, which describes her journey of immigrating to a new country, facing all the challenges she has faced or she did face, but then defying all odds to make it to the top, and of course inspiring other people. Let us go back to Washington, D.C., where Shiri Achu has been with us since the start of this show. Shiri, welcome back.
Thank you.
So I was going through your recent outings. I came across the signature yacht in Doha, where you had a private viewing, and you dubbed that 44 in print.
Yes.
So tell us about the idea of taking your works on a boat and exhibiting them there. Was that the first of its kind?
Yes, yes, that was the very first time. Well, the thought of going to exhibit in Doha,
Mhm.
I mean, it's things amazing, out of this world things happen in the Middle East. You
Mhm.
know, you have snow rings like ice rings in the middle of a desert. You have like the most quirkiest of things. Like
Mhm.
the architecture is amazing. Things are just amazing. So I thought, why not, you know, create some kind of an interesting also concept with an art exhibition. And actually, it was my sister-in-law, and we were
Mhm.
talking about it, and she goes, "Oh, why don't we think about doing the private viewing on the boat?" And I'm like, "That's an amazing idea."
Mhm.
So because again, it's out of this world. It's not something that is just, it's a little bit as the Middle East,
Mhm.
Dubai, they have interesting things going on. So I thought, hire a yacht and invite a few people
Mhm.
and have my private viewing there, and then have the main show in a normal gallery space as well.
And how did that go? Were those on board excited?
Yes, yes, it was wonderful. It was so interesting. You're seeing the view, you're getting the breeze, you're enjoying art, it was really nice. And the weather
Mhm.
was perfect. It was really nice. I want to do it again, actually. I think I'm going to see if I can do that again because it was a wonderful experience.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Does that inspire you to think of other concepts? Maybe doing it um, like
Yes, yes, it
on a
inspires.
train and I
Yes, exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. I'm thinking, yes, it inspires me to think of other ways to just, to have an
mhm.
exhibition. But it's nice that of course it was because of the privacy of it. It's small
Right.
enough so I can speak to people. I can,
Mhm.
really yeah, it was an interesting concept, and I will be thinking of other interesting concepts.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Shiri Achu is here with us, talking about her works and her projects. Still to come, we talk about 45 in Print, which marks the 10th anniversary of this project, which started in 2014 and has definitely amassed a lot of, experience along their line. Back in the studio, we have Sudi Mohamud, who is author of The Tales of Trials and Triumph, um, first book, which is an auto biography describing her journey to the United States of America, her life here, her experiences, and of course, obstacles which to her have rather paved the way for success. So, uh, tell us about these challenges which you're talking about. What are some of the challenges which you have faced coming into this new country?
Sorry. One of them being not knowing the language.
Mhm.
I had to start from scratch to
Okay.
learn English,
Mhm.
adopt new culture, basically change my life
Mhm.
that I knew to a new country
Mhm.
so I can live in better.
Mhm.
I had to learn uh, language, the culture,
So concretely, when you came, you could not utter a word in English.
just few words. How
Okay.
are you?
Okay.
I'm okay, and just
So how are you communicating?
um, when I first arrived, it was interpreter.
Okay.
And I knew little Swahili, even though I forgot right now.
Hmm.
It's been almost 2 decades. So,
Hmm.
so it was either getting someone to translate in the language. So it
Hmm.
was really difficult.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to think of if I want to leave the United States, what is the first thing that I need to do?
Okay.
It was learn the language. So I started going to the libraries, trying to study English.
Hmm.
I started college in 2005, ESL.
Okay. But
Um,
before college, you had probably gone to middle school, high school, or something.
and no, I never went to
Okay.
middle school, high school because they needed it correct paper. They needed it,
Hmm.
some kind of um, green card at 94,
Hmm.
and I didn't have none of those. So I used to go to the library, and one of the librarians used to help me with children books,
Okay.
like very children books. I remember that I used to go to her every day, and she used to read for me like literally
Okay.
3-year-olds books.
Hmm.
So she can make me understand if you say, how are you?
Okay.
You do this, you do that. So that's how I picked up basic language.
Hmm.
And then I had to wait for my papers, obviously.
Hmm.
And when I got like first time for social security or sometimes like ID, I went to school. So I started from ESL and I went from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to at least grasp the basics of English and be able to communicate with the language?
Well, raising kids and having kids, raising a family, um, it took me 6, 7 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I didn't have someone who guided me through. um, America culture, so I had to learn by pushing myself and saying, okay, better for doing this, it's better for you to do this. Instead of you getting your mind and stressed and depressed, no, go with the pen and the paper and think. There's a reason why we're here. There's a reason why I love to be to America. So use your time and be a better leader, a better person. Give your community someone that they can be proud of some point in your life. So that is something that I was working on 6 years.
My guest is the author of The Tales of Chaos and Triumph, Sudi Mohamud, and she is telling the story of life in England in the United States of America. She came into this country at the age of 18 and moved from barely saying meaning the English language to writing a beautifully packaged and properly edited book in the English language. That's how life evolves. And you also mentioned cultural differences. What are the aspects of maybe the American culture or other cultures you find around uh, that are so diametrically opposed to yours?
Well, the cultural difference was um, why Somalia is 9 so it was 100% Muslim.
Okay.
So the way we dress, it wasn't questionable. Our skin color wasn't questionable. So when I first arrived, it was everything was okay until September 11 happened, and everything changed. They look at your hijab, they look at your dressing. Everybody was looking at what's going on. So me being hijabi, me being Muslim, or, me not know the language very well, me not knowing the culture very well, that also impact a little bit of my life. So I had to adopt first to be on time somewhere. One of the things it was hard for me to learn was be on time when somebody invited you.
Okay.
Like if somebody invited their house, if you be late, that's like very disrespectful. And as Somali, it's like, I get there when I get there. We don't really
the African time.
Yeah, African time. So we don't really get offended or disrespectful as long as you showed up. And one of the hardest thing for me I did was getting up in the morning and going to a doctor appointment. So I remember one of the doctors used to tell me, if you're late, I'll charge you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, hard for me to adapt for those little things. And I'm like, oh my God, why are they charging me? I'm going to be there anyways. But it was hard, but I learned it. I know I'm like, I need to learn it. I need to force myself to learn those little things. Yeah, it was hard, but I get there.
Right. But what definitely wasn't a big problem was whether you are hijab and nobody complaining about it. Okay, beautiful. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We are telling the story of a Somali who moved to the United States of America, had her own experiences, and has decided to share those experiences in a book which she titled The Tales of Trials and Triumph. Book launched on May the 25th this year. As the show unfolds, we will find out if she will have other public appearances with this work. And back to Shiri, Achu. Shiri, let's talk about the African networking and growth mindset mixer summer social, which I also found out that you did. What was that all about?
They are developing a social of Africans coming together, think tank, and they have this simultaneously in different states in America. So I believe one is in Houston, and they have the social of Africans come together, and I was invited to come and exhibit and just showcase some of my pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how did that go?
It was nice. It was really nice meeting some professionals, art buyers, and it was nice to have a community of people come together. Africans come together and just talk and just socialize and just get to know each other. It's it's a monthly event, so
Okay.
I think I'll be there again this month. And I don't know whether I'll be able to make the others, but I'll definitely be doing this again this month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the name of that organization, or is it a project? The word mindset caught my attention, and I'll put this to you. What is the place of fine art in people's mindset? Can what you do change perceptions?
I would hope so. I That is the aim for me when I do my work and I travel around to different parts of the world.
Mhm.
Is to change that mindset that there is, a lot of people they don't see a beauty. Unfortunately, some people don't see the beauty in our everyday lives in Africa.
Mhm.
So the aim is that through my work, that mindset can be changed, and people would want to. Somebody in Thailand, for example,
Mhm.
may want to go to Africa to see something that they have seen through my work, which they saw as beautiful,
Mhm.
and that is changing a mindset. So that is predominantly why I do what I do, is because I want to change that narrative of Africa is poor. There is nothing. I want them to see. I want the world to know how beautiful Africa is in every sense of the word. Yes, we are lacking in a lot of things, but there is still a lot of beauty. So that mindset is what I'm definitely trying to change when I move from Australia to Toronto to this. It's changing. And for me, when I have people say, "Oh, I want to travel to Africa," after they've been to one of my exhibitions, that is an ultimate that is what brings me the ultimate fulfillment,
Mhm.
that through my work they have seen a beauty in Africa and they want to travel. Um but in terms of it being within Africans, I want them to realize that there is, or to have that nostalgia that yes, we've left, and for them to want to go back to visit, or want to go back to even go back.
Mhm.
It's about just um to knowing. It's the people who don't know to know that there's a beauty, for those who know to remember that beauty and wish to
Mhm.
go back. So yes, there is a mindset that can be evolved or changed, or through my work.
Since you are international and widely traveled, we would want to think that you are also the mouthpiece of other parts of the world to Africa. So
Yes.
it should be a two-way thing. So are you considering using your art to also paint the other part of the world to Africa? So if there are people in Africa who want to explore other parts of the world, they should know what they are looking forward to seeing.
That's a great idea. But I'm only one person. I don't think I can do that. I think it would be awesome.
Mhm.
Maybe I can do that through a photographic exhibition
Okay.
somehow. Maybe I can collate pictures of the different countries that I've been to, and then have an exhibition in Africa.
Mhm.
But to paint the various, no, I don't think, because I'm just I'm just one person, and
All right.
I still have the whole of Africa to go through. So far, I've got images from South Africa, from
Mhm.
East Africa, from West, but I don't really have much from the North. And so there is still a lot to capture within Africa.
Mhm. Beautiful. See, when we come back, we will delve into imprints, and we'll talk about your 10th anniversary.
Okay.
So once again, thank you so much for joining us. If you are just doing so, then this is Apex One Radio. You're listening to Snapshots, the edition of June the 6th. No, June the 8th, 2024. It's exactly 5 minutes past 12 here in the studio. And of course, in the studio, we have Sudi Mohamud, who is a book author. She is, first of all, a community leader who has decided to start telling her story through books. So, back to you, Sudi. Tell us about how people have been reacting to this book. I saw a couple of reviews, two of which I will just read here, and I would want you to comment about. So the first one I saw was from Faith Mohammed. By the way, who is Faith Mohammed?
She's a person who ordered the book from Amazon.
Okay.
The book's available everywhere.
Okay.
And she wrote the book, and she
Okay.
somehow find out my phone number
Okay.
through somebody, and she sent me that review.
Okay.
So I was impressed to know that someone you never met, that give you that
That
review.
review.
Yes. So it was actually very emotional to see that I have someone, and you never met, that says, okay, this is my review, this is my intake of the book.
And this is what Faith Mohammed wrote about the tales of trials and triumph. I'm glad you found Sudi Mohammed's book, The Tales of Trials and Triumph, to be truly inspiring. It's always great to read stories that resonate with us and leave a lasting impact. Inspiring stories like Sudi's can help us navigate our own challenges and remind us of our strength and resilience. Have you had a chance to share your thoughts with the author or others who might benefit from reading the book? Let's keep spreading the word about inspiring stories like Sudis. All right, that was a beautiful review. Then we also came across this one by Case Golongol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it rightly, but the reader wrote, Sudi Mohamud is a mother of 8 children, ranging from first grade to college graduation. She is an intellectual, college educated woman who adores her husband, but she is also admired and respected by her community for her perseverance, practices of faith, and dedication to her Somali culture. She's an active philanthropist who plays a part significantly to the political campaigns and raises awareness of the community she lives in as well as those beyond it whom she may reach. Akunta, dear, oh, okay, that's in Somali. No, I can't venture with this.
It's the same thing he
It's the
did.
same thing
Yeah.
he did. Okay, so that's what the reader wrote. What is your reaction to that?
Well, Casey and I became friends 12 years ago, when I first moved here.
Okay.
He was the first person who told me, you know what, you have a potential in the Somali community.
Right.
And since then, we've been friends. And when I first told him that I'm thinking about writing a book, he honestly say, really? What would be your book about? And I'm like, my life story. I want to show or, tell those who cannot speak for themselves or is stuck in a where between pen and life.
Right.
So he said, well, go for it. I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to write that on my Facebook, I was like, whoa. It actually took me an emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. So tell the listeners, is this book written in chapters?
Yes.
Okay, how many chapters do you have in the book?
6.
6 chapters.
Mhm.
And the volume of the book, tell me the number of pages we have in this book.
We have 49 pages.
49 pages.
Mhm.
Okay, I see that. And I'd like to bring Shiri in here. We want to talk about the cover, the cover of this book. Shiri, I know you've done this before
Mhm.
with Iggy Mizu.
Yes.
So uh, tell me, Shiri, when you're designing the cover of the book,
Hmm.
what do you do? What is the process? So do you work with the author, or they just leave it to you and say, okay, conceive us a cover?
Um, it has been. I've had two different ways of doing it. They've said, okay, read. Um, so with
Mhm.
Iggy says, I just need the first book I did for him. He said, um, I just need. He explained what he wanted me to produce, and I did that.
Mhm.
The second time he says, go for it. Just he gave me a concept. I want South African women, and I want them
Mhm.
celebrating. So I just did that. Um, for others, they'll throw something to me and they say, okay, can you do something? And I'll say, well, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And then they agree eventually. And my latest book cover, she needed me to read everything,
Mhm.
all the poems, so I can really understand the nature of what I was producing, because I actually had to produce images for each poem.
Mhm.
So the latest one, so it varies depending on what the author wants. But I love it when they are completely free and say, "Sure, go for it," But it
Mhm.
also makes sense that I know what the book is about, and then there's another book, Jude Awuba. He reads.
Mhm.
I think he released that book last year, and he explained. I could not read how many pages of the book. It was a very very very. It's a big book,
Mhm.
so he just explained what he needed the cover to mean, to show, so to express. So I was able to do that, and luckily, yes, he's actually they're all. I love doing book covers. It's actually quite fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great. So, Sudi, tell us, so some other curious readers would have expected to see the picture of Sudi on the cover, but here we have the colors of the United States of America with the white star. Tell us about this cover.
So the top is a Somali flag.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes. And then in the middle is the civil war. So the top is representing when Somalia was peaceful.
Mhm.
And then in the middle is the civil war, and going country to country, having no place. And then in America, where I live right now. So I combined all those three things.
Mhm.
So that's what the cover is all about.
Wow, that's interesting. So,
Hmm.
whose concept was that? Did you? Is it? Are you the one who conceived that cover? Who thought about it?
No, actually, my business partner
Mhm.
Ahmed Ibrahim, he designed that cover, and he's been big supportive
Mhm.
of the book. Um, so that it was he did a couple of covers, but then we choose that one actually says a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. You come from a community that is so close to its culture. I've been to several Somali events, and each time I go there, if people are speaking in English, others are also speaking
In Somali.
in Somali.
Mm.
And one would have also expected that this book will be translated in Somali or have a Somali version. Is that tell us
It's
about
going
it?
to be translated in Somali and Arabic
Okay.
next year. They're
Okay.
working on it right now. But the reason why I wrote English was
To get a
to
wider
get
readership.
wider and the young one to understand,
Mhm.
what I'm been through instead of Somali.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how simple is the English in this book? Because there is English and there is also English at different levels. Yeah.
It is
So
very simple.
okay,
I made it as simple as possible.
okay.
so everyone can read.
Okay. Right. So that book is titled The Tales of Trials and Triumph, authored by Sudi Mohamud. She is live here in the studio of Apex One Radio. It's exactly 15 minutes past 12 here in the studio. Thank you if you're just joining us on Apex One Radio.com. Shiri, before we talk about your 10th anniversary and 45 imprints, I would like you to come back to this concept for the sake of the people who are coming across the imprint art exhibition for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
What is it all about?
Okay. The imprint series of exhibitions, it's an annual Shiri Achu art exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
I started with London, where I had 35 pieces in print. Then I did another exhibition in Washington, D.C. It was 36 in print,
Mm-hmm.
D.C. Then I did 37 in print in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
38 in print Jamaica, 39 in print Toronto. And then I did the 40th act, which is, it was the 10th anniversary from when I did my very first exhibition, which was the 30th act, to now the 40th act.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, I did not want to just not do anything. So I did it online. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was very expensive, but because I had to pull people and, it was really, but it was a great thing that I didn't stop. I did the 41 in print online, then I did Douala, then I did Yaoundé, and then I did Qatar. So now this is the 10th. And basically the aim is that I take prints of my work.
Mm-hmm.
And I travel to these cities because I want to expose beautiful Africa culture to different parts of the world. It started because when I lived in London, people do not really know much about different Africa cultures. They knew Kenya, but they did not know anything else about Africa. And I was really annoyed because, I'm like, see, we're not all the same. We don't think that we're all like, West Africa is different from the East and the West, so I thought, okay, if I do paintings of different parts of Africa, cultures within Africa, then take that around to different parts of the world, then they get more familiar. Like for me, it's amazing now that somebody in Australia actually has a painting of big men, of Bafuchu men, wearing the togo in his living room, because he'll have somebody come in. Where is that? That's Togo. That's from Cameroon. So they've now educated somebody else about a different part of Africa, not just Kenya. So that is what I do. I try to use Africa, the cultures, and then travel around so people get more familiar with it. So yes, this one marks the 10th one. Very exciting.
And about the numbers, 35 in print, 44 in print. Does that mean that you're carrying 35 pieces?
Yes.
Okay, along.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're now at 45 pieces.
45. So you'll be exhibiting 45 pieces.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I will say for exhibiting 45 pieces. And again, they are prints, they are in print, because in order to travel around, and again, like I said, the aim is for me to showcase and have people love and explore and know the culture. So when you're making them in prints, they're becoming more affordable. And it's becoming it's transportable. It's not like I'm carrying original huge pieces. I am making them into smaller prints, and then I'm taking them so that it's, instead of it being thousands and thousands of dollars, it's like $300. It's a lot more affordable. So that way, many more people can actually have it, and then the message is spread more.
If you were to stop doing the imprint series today, which definitely you will not, what would you say you have achieved in these 10 years?
I would say that I have brought to light to a lot of people that Africa is a beautiful place. Yes, that's what I would say. And I would be very proud of that, even if I stop now. I'll be proud that, because people, somebody in Australia or somebody in Toronto, oh, I want to travel to Africa now, after they see my work. To me, that is, like I say, it's amazing.
Pick that one edition of imprint which you would always recall.
I'll always recall, they're all great in their own way. They're all, because being in a unique, country with unique citizens of that country, people who don't really know. I enjoyed Jamaica. Qatar was definitely a unique experience. When I did it in Cameroon, in Douala and Yaoundé, beautiful spaces, because I did it in Gallery Mam and the Museum of the museum in Yaoundé, the National Museum in Yaoundé. So they're beautiful spaces. But I can't say I loved the very first one. I don't know whether it's a bias because I was in London, but I did love the beginning of all of this. Also, the 35th, the first one. I Australia, of course, was great. You know, traveling and seeing a completely new city. Yeah, they're all great in their own way. I can't. But of course, the boat ride private viewing was very unique.
Beautiful. Her name is Shiri, Achu. Shiri, when we come back to you, that will be the last phase of this conversation. Then we'll be talking about how you are raising up for this 10th anniversary of the Imprint Art Exhibition, which started 10 years ago in the United Kingdom, precisely in the great old city of London, which has traveled across the world and which is celebrating 10 years in Washington, D.C. come July the 8th this year, or July the 11th this year. Back in the studio, we have the author of The Tales of Triumph, of Trials and Triumph, Sudi Mohamud. Sudi, tell me, who can read this book? Who did you write this book for?
Everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, between ages on, I'll say 16.
Even Americans who travel out of America, out of the United States to other parts of the world?
Everyone, yeah.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to write this book? And tell us about the process from when you conceived it till when this book was ready to go.
Well, this book actually took 9 months.
9 months.
Yes. From professional editing to my friend Ahmed, to my uncle who's a Somali artist and singer, in between my children. It took some, a couple of my friends. So we sit down every day and we change here and there, but it took 9 months. Yeah.
And so tell us what you were doing these 9 months. When an idea came, you would jot it down. Just tell us how the process went.
Well, yes. Even though I was going to school and I was involved in the community, but whatever that thought that I had, I was writing down either on my phone or a piece of paper. So when I go home and finish at the end of the day, when I'm doing, I went back and I send them all, make sense of the idea that I had. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So is this book self-published or you had a publisher?
I have a publisher.
How did you find the publisher?
One of my friends recommended it. So I went that way.
Okay. And tell us how the publisher was ready to accept this project, because every professional publisher wouldn't just publish anything. Before they accept to publish you, it means they found something that made sense in the book.
Well, first they edit it. Of course, they read it. They look at it, whether it has a potential, on whether it's not. So what catch their eye was mother of 8, hijabi immigrants who come on the top of being a teenager to college graduate. So we were going back and forth. We were changing some things, but they said the book has potential.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That's beautiful, and it's a book you would love to read. She just provided my own autographed copy of the book, which I will go through and perhaps come back to it when I find some interesting things in the book. Definitely, there are interesting things to learn from the Tales of Trials and Triumph, which is already in circulation. It was launched on May the 25th this year in the city of Columbus. Tell us about that launching. How did it go?
Um, it was like it really went great.
Who was there?
New American Magazine
Okay.
was there.
Mhm.
A couple of my family, my friends were there.
Mhm.
And New American Magazine, when he wrote something down, everything just went viral. Like when everybody like, whoa, there's a new book, you know. So everything just went popular from there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Right. And we've seen pictures of people having the book in hand, so many people, and they've been talking about it as well, which means that the feedback is definitely great.
Mm.
I'll come back to you, and that will be our last phase of this radio conversation. Let me go back to Shiri Achu. So Shiri, um, the 10th anniversary will be almost a month long exhibition that is from July the 11th to September the
Eighth.
the 8th. So
Yes.
what will be going on during this time, and what will you be exhibiting?
So I will be exhibiting 45 pieces
Okay.
of my work. I'm going to actually also have a few original pieces this time. Since it's my 10th anniversary, I think I should have some originals. Um,
Okay.
it's going to be the private viewing will be on the 11th, and then people are also registering to attend on Friday the 12th.
Okay.
And then it's going to be opened to the public from Saturday the 13th through to the 8th of September. And there'll be a closing party on the 7th.
Mhm.
So, what will be happening during the time? So, I am actually about to launch a campaign.
Okay.
So, some many years ago, 7 years ago, I did this Raise the Roof campaign. And I recently went to Cameroon and I saw that the funds that I actually, that we put together, that people, contributed, actually raised the roof, which was great. Now they're saying that they need money to complete the flooring. Um, so the campaign is going to be launched around the time when the exhibition will be open. So every sale during and the campaign will be called Grounded, because of course it's completing the floor. So all the sales during this time is a long period of time. So I want to in the middle of DC. So it would be nice that people, whatever, uh, all the sales of my work, of merchandising, of registration fees, a percentage of that will go towards that. 10% of every sale of my work will go towards of merchandise, and everything will go towards the campaign. And then on the last day, we will have some other interesting events during, but nothing firmed up yet. But on the last day, last Saturday, on the 7th, there's going to be a fashion show that
Okay.
I'm working on. So that's going to be exciting. I'm still working on it. I'll give you a little hint. It's on the theme of long live the art of service. But that's it. That's the little hint I'm giving. But yes, I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of interesting things planned.
So beautiful. You see how art goes with community development. She's not just doing this for the sake of showcasing her works, but like she said, 10% of every sale will go into this project back home. So if you are going to be part of this 10th anniversary, know that you are not only doing that for Shiri, but you're also doing that for a community that
Yes.
needs support. So be part of that supportive machinery. Thank you so much if you're just joining us. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. So the event at Embassy Road 2015 Massachusetts Avenue,
Yes.
NW, Washington, D.C. Tell us about this venue, how convenient it is for this exhibition.
How convenient it is. So I was actually, it was a blessing to be given the space and the gallery space in this beautiful hotel, and for the period that I have it for. It's easy to get to. It's Embassy Road. All the embassies are around. There's parking underneath, so there's no issues with parking. And yeah, the food there is great. Yeah, it's going to be really a wonderful time. I just I just hope I can be there as much as I can. Of course, I'll be there at the opening and the private viewing and the registered viewing and the first day of the opening to the public. But I don't know how much, because it's running for it's actually almost 2 months.
Okay.
It's almost 2 months. So, but if people want to see the exhibition, if they cannot come to the openings, then I would always be able to meet them for another time.
Beautiful. And so for the highlights, you have private view, which will take place on July the 11th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then
Yes.
registration of guests will happen on July the 12th.
Yes.
That will be from
So we
6
have a
p.m. to
link.
10 p.m.
Sorry to interrupt you. There is a link that people can register.
Okay.
And actually, between now and next week, it's free for the registration. But thereafter, people would have to, for the registered guests, they would have to pay $10 for a ticket.
Okay.
Again, because I am trying to raise, some fundings towards the campaign. So, so if people should have, they can either get tickets, and it's really good because people have actually already started buying, getting tickets and clicking on the drop down to donate and give. So I'm calling it a gift to my 10th anniversary, but
Right.
it's also a portion of that. 45% of that gift will be given towards the campaign.
Perfect. And we are told that the exhibition will be open daily to the public from Saturday, July the 13th to
Yep.
Sunday, the 4th of September, right?
Yes.
All right. That is interesting. So call the hotel before you visit
Yes.
that exhibition. Then in
During-
case there is a private view.
Yes,
Right.
during any other times other than the dates and the times that given.
Okay.
If you wanted to go, for example, on the 27th of July, just call because they may have an event. It's a big space which is used for multiple things. Those dates given on the invitation are the days specifically blocked out for my event. Any other time there may be another event. So it's just good to call in case you don't want to go all the way there and then you're not able to see the exhibition.
One would have thought that you go back to Washington, no, to London to do the 10th anniversary. Mostly because you mentioned that you are so emotionally attached to London. So why DC?
I've built a nice following here too. I've built a nice. I know over the years I have gotten to know a lot of wonderful people here. So I would love for them to also experience a big event. But who knows? Maybe I'll do another one in London. We'll see.
Perfect. All right. That's interesting. We're gradually but steadily moving to the end of this radio conversation with our two guests, the author and the fine artists, Sudi and Shiri, respectively.
May
Sudi,
I
back
just-
to you. Yes.
Sorry, may I please have a signed book copy too, please? Can I?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Can I?
Okay. I'll share your contacts, and
Yes.
that will definitely happen.
Yes.
So I'll be back with you, Sudi, to run off this edition of the show. Sudi, after Columbus, do you plan to launch this book elsewhere?
I am going a book tour
Okay.
starting Thursday.
Wow.
Starting from Seattle, Washington,
Okay.
and then Atlanta, and then Minneapolis, and New York City.
Okay.
I might end up going to London too.
Woo!
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. That is interesting, and you're definitely going to make the public know, have the schedule, right? So they will know exactly when they should be expecting you in these respective places you've mentioned.
Yes, when I finalize it, I will put it on Facebook.
Facebook. Perfect.
May
Right.
I say one more thing, please? Sorry.
Yes.
For Africa Day, I wore, I don't know whether it's the same cape that you wear in your country, but I wore a cape from Eritrea, right? Do you wear similar things in people from Eritrea?
No.
You don't.
I will send you your contact, and I will send you some.
Okay.
Right.
That's interesting. Okay. So generally, what has been the feedback from people who have read this book already, apart from the two we reviewed?
The lessons that is in there. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a lot, like 10 lessons that need to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Where is this book available?
It's available everywhere.
Okay.
Online, you can go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, so and so on. But it's also available 50 countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So it's available everywhere.
Okay. And what is the cover price?
Roughly $20.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, that's interesting. So, Shiri, to run off with you, could you just remind us of the date of your 10th anniversary, venue, times, and so on?
Yes. So busy preparing for my 10th anniversary. Opening to the public on the 12th of July, through to the 8th of September. It's going to be at the Verne Gallery in Washington, D.C., 2015 Massachusetts Avenue, to be exact. The openings, yes, from 6 to 10. There are going to be some nice events, maybe ending with a fashion show. And people can register and get tickets on Eventbrite. So if you type in Shiri Achu Art 45 in print, you'll be able to go to an Eventbrite. You'll be able to get the ticket for the Friday the 12th of July.
Shiri, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we still want to congratulate you on the great job you have been doing. Like I mentioned earlier, you've been quite consistent, and that's your strength. So thank you so much. We'll definitely get back to you, perhaps during that exhibition, and measure the rate of progress. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right, Sudi, just before we go away, how can people reach you if they want to get more information about this project?
Well, you can share on my phone, my contact on the screen, and if they need the book through me, I can always ship them. But they can also order Amazon. It's like 2 nights. So yeah.
What are your social media handles?
My social media. Yeah, you can share
on Facebook.
On Facebook,
Okay.
I have Twitter, and everything basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You mentioned that this book will be continued. How soon will that happen?
We are publishing the end of the year.
End of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me, I may be wrong, but that tells me that this marks the beginning of a new book writing career for you.
Well, let's see.
Are you going to stop after this?
I don't know. Let's see.
Okay. And there is the New Americans Book Fair that comes up in September of this year. Apparently, you'll be exhibiting this book there.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much, and and say that we will continue to inform the public, about such projects when they do come up, and also to encourage people to go out there and procure their own copies of the Tales of Trials and Triumphs. Go to Amazon if that's where you get your books. You will have your copy of this book, or reach out to the author. Read this book; it's so rich. You will definitely identify with this book. If you haven't traveled, if this is your country and you have not traveled to other countries, know that someday that may happen. You may have to travel and also experience things. So a book like this is definitely going to guide you in the process. So thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thank you, Sudi, for coming.
Thank you for having me again.
MarcelAdig was the producer of this show. He controlled us digitally from Brussels in Germany. My name is Ernest. Kanjo. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend and continue listening to programs on Apex One Radio. Bye for now.